Okay, let's dive right into this. We are tackling one of the biggest puzzles in all of literature. The first few pages of James Joyce's incredible and, let's be honest, incredibly difficult book, Finnegans Wake.
Riverrun, past Eve and Adams, from swerve of shore to bend of bay. Just listen to that for a second. It's beautiful, it's kind of musical, but what does it actually mean? It doesn't give away its secrets easily, does it?
Now, if you're feeling a little bit lost right now, don't worry. You are in very good company. That feeling of confusion is completely normal. In fact, Joyce pretty much designed it that way. This book has been delighting and, baffling readers for almost a century. But what if we change how we think about it? What if this isn't an impossible book, but instead it's a code, a puzzle just waiting to be cracked? That's what we're going to do today. Together, we're going to find the first few keys to unlock it. All right, so the first key you absolutely need to have is this. The book doesn't work like a regular story. Beginning, middle, end. Nope. Its entire structure, its very bones, are a circle.
See, Joyce was totally obsessed with an old Italian philosopher named Giambattista Vico. And Vico had this big idea that history isn't a straight line. It moves in giant circles, or cycles. He called it ricorso. Joyce thought this was brilliant, so he didn't just write about the idea. He built his entire novel to be the idea.
And here it is. Here's the proof. Check this out. The book ends mid-thought with this unfinished sentence. But if you take that last little fragment and loop it all the way back to the very first word, you get a complete sentence along the river run. It's a perfect seamless loop. The story literally has no beginning and no end. It just keeps going.
And Joyce, he's a clever guy. He even gives us a little clue right there on the first page. He calls the whole thing a vicus of recirculation. Now, that phrase isn't just a cool description. It's actually our next key.
So, we've got the big picture, right? This massive circular story. Now, let's zoom way, way in, down to the tiniest little pieces, the words themselves, because this is where Joyce really starts to play.
Let's go back to that phrase. On the surface, it sounds pretty simple. Maybe a comfy street you could take a walk around. But with Joyce, you have to remember, there is always something else going on under the hood.
To really decode what Joyce is doing, you have to become a bit of a detective. You start with what a word seems to mean, then you listen to what it sounds like, and then you start digging for all the puns, jokes, and hidden connections he's buried inside.
Let's try it out. Commodious, what does that sound like? Commode, as in a toilet. And what do toilets do? They recirculate water when you flush. So the grand theme of historical cycles is being linked to a bathroom joke. Then there's vicus. It's a direct pun on our philosopher friend, Giambattista Vico, and it sounds like vicious, as in a vicious circle. It's brilliant. High philosophy and a potty joke, all packed into just 2 words.
So what this means is that almost every single word in this book is like a suitcase that's been stuffed with other words, meanings, and languages. Reading Finnegans Wake is basically like being a literary archaeologist, carefully brushing the dirt off to see what you can find. Okay, so we've got a circle, and we've got a language made of codes. But what story are these things actually telling? Now that we kind of get how the book works, we can start to ask what it's all about. And it turns out it's about one of the oldest stories we have.
The huge event that kicks off everything in these opening pages is the fall. A great fall. But Joyce isn't just thinking about one specific fall. He's thinking about every fall, from all of history and myth, and he smashes them all together into one single giant event. He weaves them all together so cleverly. You've got the big one, right? The biblical fall. Eve and Adams is right there in the first line. Then he hints at Humpty Dumpty's fall off wall, even punning on the French word for egg, œuf. And the book is even named after an old Irish folk song about a guy named Tim Finnegan who gets drunk and falls off a ladder. It's the story of everyone's fall.
So if you're going to have an event this big, a fall that represents all falls, how do you announce it? What sound does a universal collapse make? Well, it's not a whisper. It's a bang, a really, really big bang.
And this is it. This is Joyce's legendary thunder word. Yep, that is one word, 100 letters long. And it represents the sound of everything falling apart, the noise that signals the end of one historical cycle and the beginning of the next.
And you guessed it, it's another code. It's not just random letters. Joyce built this word by taking the word for thunder from at least 10 different languages and stitching them all together. You can actually see bits of Japanese, kaminare, Greek, bronte, and French, tonnerre, all woven into that one incredible sound.
Okay, let's take a breath. We've got a circular story, told in a pun-filled language, about a universal fall that's announced by cosmic thunder. So, the big question is, whose story is this? Who is experiencing all this chaos?
Well, the answer once again is hidden in plain sight. It's right there in the third line of the book, Howth Castle and Environs. Look at the initials, HCE. That's our hero.
But of course, with Joyce, HCE isn't just one thing. He is three things at once. He is a place, the landscape of Dublin. He is a person, a local pub owner named Humphrey Chimpton Erwicker. And he is an archetype. He is, here comes everybody. He's all of us.
And this is the final key, the one that unlocks the whole shebang. Where is all this crazy stuff happening? The whole book, all the puns, all the history, all the falls, it is all taking place inside the dream of one sleeping man.
And Joyce makes this shockingly literal. HCE's dreaming body is the physical landscape of Dublin. His head is a real place, the Hill of Howth. His feet are kicking around in Phoenix Park. The ordinary citizens of Dublin are just walking across his giant sleeping body every day and they have no idea. The setting and the main character are literally the same thing.
So think about where we've gone. We started with one single, confusing sentence, and now we have a sleeping giant who is the city of Dublin, dreaming the entire circular history of the world. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If this is the code to just the first few pages, what else is hidden in the rest of the dream?